Welcome you all. Today we will discuss about this new topic, that is moment of inertia. I am Dr. Deepak GB, Associate Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, DSATM, Bangalore. Okay, first we will see the definition of moment of inertia. Let me take the definition. It is the term used to describe the capacity of a cross section to resist bending. Okay, it is always considered with respect to reference axis such as xx or yy. This moment of inertia is denoted by the alphabet capital I. Okay. See here, it is the cross section or geometric shape that is having some capacity to resist bending. That is called moment of inertia. Also, it is called second moment of area because in centroid the moment of area is obtained by multiplying area with perpendicular distance. This perpendicular distance is the distance of centroid of a geometric shape from reference axis. But in moment of inertia, we multiply same moment of area, that is A into x, again with same perpendicular distance x, that is the distance from of centroid from reference axis. This is called, that's why it is called as second moment of area, that is A into x square. Here you are multiplying twice the perpendicular distance. This distance is distance of centroid of a given geometric shape from reference axis. Okay, so what is the unit? We will see here. For that I considered these two figures. One I took rectangle, another one I took triangle. If I want area of rectangle, what is the area? Area of rectangle is breadth into depth. Breadth is measured in terms of millimeter or centimeter or meter. Similarly, the depth also measured in terms of millimeter, centimeter or meters. So, if I want area, then area is breadth and multiplied by depth. So, millimeter multiplied by again one more millimeter, that is millimeter square. Area will be in millimeter square. Similarly, if I consider triangle, here area of triangle is given by half into base into it. Base is measured in terms of millimeter and height also measured in terms of millimeter or centimeter or meter. So, it is also gives area of triangle also gives meter or square or millimeter square or centimeter square. Therefore, area is millimeter square. In moment of inertia, we multiply the perpendicular distance, that is the distance of centroid from reference axis twice. Hence, it is also having a unit millimeter square, that is distance square. Here you can see x square, that is millimeter square. So, area multiplied by definition of moment of inertia, we have area multiplied by distance square. The distance square is the distance between centroid and reference axis. So, the unit becomes area millimeter square once again multiplied by with square of the distance, that is also millimeter square, gives millimeter to the power 4. Therefore, the moment of inertia is in the unit is in the order of 4 or power of 4, whether it may be millimeter or centimeter or meter. Next, we will see moment of inertia of a plane or moment of inertia by method of integration. It is also called as moment of inertia by method of integration. For this, I will consider a plane area that is A, which is a summation of all small elemental areas. So, in big area, I will consider one small element area dA. It is represented by a square. It is shown in this figure here. It is having a distance y to x axis and x to y axis. From definition of moment of inertia, if I want moment of inertia of small element area dA with respect to x-axis, then it will give this small element area multiplied by square of this distance, that is y square. dA into y square will gives me the moment of inertia of small element area with respect to x-axis. Here moment of represented by this expression, this one is represented by this expression. Here I xx is moment of inertia of small elemental area with respect to x-axis, that is equal to area of small elemental area, that is dA, multiplied by perpendicular distance square, that is y square. Here it is given. So D is differential element. This is this differential element. It is called as equation 1. Okay. Now, if I want the moment of area A about x-axis is obtained by integrating equation 1 to cover entire area. Means this elemental area I found moment of inertia with respect to x-axis. If I want whole area, then I have to integrate, because this whole area consists small elemental number of small elemental areas dA. That's why I have to integrate. So now integrating equation 1, dIxx is equal to integration area multiplied by perpendicular distance. This one will call it as this Ixx, it is given by Ixx is equal to integral y square dA. This is called the moment of inertia with respect to x-axis. Similarly, moment of inertia with respect to y-axis is given by this expression, that is integral diy is equal to integral dA, that is elemental area, multiplied by distance square, that is x square. Then Iyy is given by integral x square dA. This is the moment of inertia with respect to y-axis. So the moment of inertia of whole lamina about both the axes is given by Ixx is equal to integral y square dA and Iyy is equal to integral x square dA. This integral y square dA and x square dA is also represented by summation of all elemental areas multiplied by distance square, that is y square, and if I want with respect to y-axis, then the summation of all elemental area multiplied by distance, perpendicular distance, that is x square. Okay. Next, we will see what is polar moment of inertia. It is also represented by this term Izz or Ip. First, we will see the definition of polar moment of inertia. It is defined as the moment of inertia of an area with respect to an axis perpendicular to the xy plane and passing through origin or pole is known as polar moment of inertia. Okay, it is given by Ip or Izz is equal to Ixx plus Iyy. Means I will consider an area in xy plane and I am taking the moment of inertia of that area with respect to an axis perpendicular to xy plane and passing through origin. That is called polar moment of inertia. It is represented by this figure. You can see this is the area A, consists small elemental area dA, and it is situated in this x plane, y plane and x plane. Xy plane it is situated. So I will take the moment of inertia of this whole area or this elemental area with respect to OZ. This OZ is perpendicular to xy plane. That is called polar moment of inertia. If I consider this moment of inertia of whole body with respect to this axis, that is OZ axis, which is in turn perpendicular to x axis and y axis, is called polar moment of inertia. You can see this. This is the perpendicular axis to these two axes, and the moment of inertia of this body with respect to this OZ axis is called polar moment of inertia, and it is passing through origin also. Okay, this is the construction. It is explained over here. Okay, now the small element, consider the small elemental area dA at a distance x and y from OX and OY axis respectively, as shown in figure. This is OX and OY axis. The small elemental area is at a distance x and y to these two axes, x axis and y axis, OY axis. Okay, next R be the distance of CG of elemental area dA from OZ axis. This is the R. This is the distance of this elemental area dA with respect to OZ axis. Okay, it is the construction. Then from definition of moment of inertia, we have IZZ, I am taking with respect to Z axis, OZ axis is equal to area multiplied by distance square. Here elemental area is dA multiplied by perpendicular distance is R, that square. If I integrate this, I will integrate this to cover entire area. Then it becomes like this. IZZ is equal to integral dA R square, or summation of dA and R square, sigma dA R square. But this radius R is equal to this radius, this distance R is equal to x square plus y square. This is Pythagoras theorem. Hypotenuse is equal to adjacent side square plus opposite side square. This is what it is given, x square plus y square. I will substitute R square for R square in this equation. Then IZZ is equal to x square plus y square dA. Then I will split this x square dA plus integral y square dA. X square dA is nothing but I yy, that is moment of inertia with respect to y axis. Integral y square dA is nothing but moment of inertia with respect to x axis. Then the equation becomes IZZ is equal to Iyy plus Ixx, that is moment of inertia with respect to z axis, that is polar moment of inertia, is equal to summation of moment of inertia with respect to x axis and moment of inertia with respect to y axis. It is also denoted by this form, that is sigma dA, that is summation of all small elemental areas with respect to these two axes. Then splitting these two terms, then again we will get same equation. This is the polar moment of inertia, and it is given by Iyy plus Ixx. What is radius of gyration? We will see definition first. The radius of gyration of a body is defined as the distance from the reference axis at which the given area or body is assumed to be compressed and kept as a thin strip, such that there is no change in moment of inertia. This is the definition. Okay, this radius of gyration is represented by K. K is distance, such that the body which is made into a thin strip is kept from reference axis, such that the moment of inertia is remains same. Okay, we will see the figure to understand it better. Okay, yeah, this is the figure. Here I consider the area A, which is equal to summation of all elemental areas, that is dA1, dA2, dA3. This all summation will give me the entire area. This is the reference axis, that is AB, and these elemental areas dA1 is at a distance k1 from reference axis. Similarly, the elemental area dA2 is at a distance k2 from reference axis, and elemental area dA3 is at a distance k3 from the reference axis. What I will do from radius of gyration, definition of radius of gyration, I will compress this entire area and make a thin strip like this. Here you can see in this figure. Okay, I will make this entire area into a thin strip and I will place at a distance k from reference axis AB, same reference axis AB. Now what is the condition? This k is called radius of gyration. When it holds good, the moment of inertia of these elemental areas, that is dA1, dA2, dA3, if I sum up all these moment of inertias of elemental areas, that will be equal to moment of inertia of this thin strip over this reference axis AB. In such condition, this distance k is called radius of gyration. It is very simple. Again, we will see the entire area I will make into a thin strip and I will place in at a distance k from reference axis AB such that the moment of inertia won't alter. Okay, this is called radius of gyration, and it is represented by k. As I told, from definition of moment of inertia we have IAB, that is moment of inertia about AB is equal to area into k square. This is the perpendicular distance CG of this thin strip with respect to AB axis. Area multiplied by perpendicular distance square of perpendicular distance. Hence k is equal to root of IAB by A. The equation becomes like this. This k is called radius of gyration. IAB is moment of inertia about axis AB. A is area of cross section of the geometry. Similarly, the radius of gyration with respect to, if I take x coordinate and y coordinate, then radius of gyration with respect to x-axis is given by kxx is equal to root of ixx by a. Similarly, the radius of gyration with respect to y-axis is given by kyy is equal to root of iyy by a, and polar radius of gyration is given by kp or kzz is equal to root of izz or ip divided by area, which is under root. This is called radius of gyration. Next we will see the theorems of moment of inertia. We have two theorems. One is perpendicular axis theorem, another one is parallel axis theorem. First we will see this perpendicular axis theorem. The statement, it states that moment of inertia of an area with respect to an axis perpendicular to xy plane and passing through origin will be equal to sum of moment of inertia of same area about x-axis and y-y axis. It is similar to polar moment of inertia. This is mathematical equation. It is given by izz is equal to ixx plus yy. Means moment of inertia with respect to zz axis is equal to summation of moment of inertia with respect to x-axis plus moment of inertia with respect to y-axis. This is the mathematical form. Okay, you will see the proof. For that, I will consider an area of A which consists number of small elemental areas dA represented by square in this figure. This elemental area is at a distance y from x-axis and x from y-axis. Let R be the distance of this elemental area dA with origin O or OZ axis. From definition of moment of inertia, I am taking moment of inertia with respect to OZ axis. So from definition, moment of inertia with respect to OZ is equal to area multiplied by perpendicular square of perpendicular distance, that is perpendicular distance square. So it is given by this expression, moment of inertia with respect to OZ is equal to dA, that is elemental area dA, multiplied by perpendicular distance square, that is r square. Okay, now if I want to cover whole area, I took this elemental area, moment of inertia of this elemental area with respect to OZ. Now I want moment of inertia of whole area with respect to OZ. So what I will do, I will integrate the equation. So then the expression becomes Izz is equal to integral r square dA. But again r square is equal to x square plus y square. This r is hypotenuse, this side is y, this side is x. So hypotenuse, applying Pythagoras theorem, hypotenuse is equal to adjacent side square plus hypotenuse opposite square, opposite square. That is given by this, r square is equal to x square plus y square. I will substitute r square with this value, x square plus y square. Then the equation becomes Izz is equal to integral x square plus y square area, small elemental area dA. Now Izz is equal to, I split these two, x square dA plus integral y square dA. I have integral x square dA is nothing but moment of inertia with respect to y axis. Integral y square dA is nothing but moment of inertia with respect to x axis. Therefore the equation becomes Izz is equal to Ixx plus Iyy here. So Izz, that is moment of inertia with respect to z axis, is equal to moment of inertia with respect to y axis plus moment of inertia with respect to x axis. Hence it is proved. This mathematical equation is proved. This is the perpendicular axis theorem. This is very, very important expression we have to remember. Okay, now I will go to parallel axis theorem. The statement of parallel axis theorem is like this. Parallel axis theorem states that the moment of inertia of a plane area with respect to any reference axis in its plane is equal to the sum of moment of inertia with respect to parallel centroidal axis and product of total area and square of distance between two axes, that is between centroidal and reference axis. This is the statement, and a mathematical form is IAB. This is moment of inertia with respect to reference axis is equal to moment of inertia with respect to centroidal axis plus area of the geometry multiplied by the square of the distance between centroidal axis and reference axis. Okay, here it is given. IAB is equal to moment of inertia about AB. IG is moment of inertia about centroidal axis. A is the area. Y bar is the distance between reference axis and centroidal axis. This is the construction. I have took a area A. In that I considered a small strip of width dA, and it is at a distance y from the centroidal axis. This G is centroid of this whole area, and the axis passing through G is GG, that is centroidal axis. And this AB is the reference axis. This is at a distance y bar from centroidal axis. Okay, this is the construction. Now what I will do, I will take moment of inertia about AB, IAB. This small strip about AB I will consider. The moment of inertia of this small strip over this AB reference axis I will take. Then it becomes IAB is equal to integral. Integral, if I use the symbol, then it will cover whole area. Okay, this is y plus distance square. This is dA, area of small strip. Okay, then this distance is y plus y bar whole square. Distance square is, this is the reference axis is at a distance y bar from centroidal axis, and this elementary strip is at a distance y from centroidal axis. Total it becomes y plus y bar. This is given here, y plus y bar square. Now if I integrate, then it reduces to y square plus 2y y bar plus y bar square dA. Then moment of inertia with respect to AB is given by integral y square dA. I will split all these terms. Then integral 2y y bar dA plus integral y bar square dA. I will call this equation as 1. Okay. Now what I will do, I will consider the first term. Here the first term, this is the first term, y integral y square dA. Integral y square dA is nothing but moment of inertia about GG axis, that is centroidal axis. Hence it is denoted by IG. Okay. Next I will consider second term, that is 2y bar integral y dA. This one, 2y integral y bar dA. That is equal to 0, because the reference axis is itself centroidal axis, so hence there is no distance, y bar is 0. That's why the second term becomes 0. Next, the third term I will consider. Okay, this is the third term, y bar square dA. This is nothing but a into y bar square. Then I will substitute these values in this equation 1. So first term is Ig. Okay, this first term is Ig, second term is 0, third term is a into y bar square. So then from parallel axis theorem, the moment of inertia with respect to an axis AB is equal to moment of inertia with respect to centroidal axis plus area of the lamina multiplied by the perpendicular distance square, that is the distance between centroidal axis and reference axis. If I take this moment of inertia with respect to vertical axis, then the equation becomes IAB is equal to IG same plus area multiplied by perpendicular distance square, that is in this case it is x bar square. Hence it is proved.